Since our Chao are busy, we're going to take a little bit of a detour. Up these stairs, here to the left, is the Hero Chao Garden. Every Chao Garden always contains 2 Chao eggs somewhere within it. As said earlier, this area was changed a bit. This river used to run the entire length of the garden, and it used to be deep enough so that Tails could drown in here. It was changed specifically for those reasons. If you dig around in the Chao Garden, you can sometimes also find pumpkins, if your luck is not as terrible as mine. I thought every garden had 2 eggs, but looks like I'll just have the 1. So unless he's hiding from me, I'm just going to warm this fella up and let him out into the world. Alright. Being in a hero or dark aligned garden is usually enough to influence them to the point where by the time they're ready to go into adulthood, they will shift to that alignment. Now, obviously, if you have a child living in the hero garden who is loved on a great deal by a dark hero, that won't be the case, but the influence is there and tangible. I like his little bee smile. Alright, comment section. I'm going to turn this one over to you guys. I need a name for this little guy. You guys name him, and I'll give you some progress reports on how he's doing over time. But before I leave, he's probably hungry. And even though they look slightly different, the fruits in each garden are mechanically identical to one another. Guess he's not hungry.
Now there.
Alright, comment section, he's all yours.
Citizens of Earth, lend me your ears.
I have an announcement to make.
My name is Dr. Eggman, the world's greatest scientist, and soon to be the world's greatest ruler. Now witness the beginning of the greatest empire of all time.
Because who doesn't want a massive satellite that looks like their face? I mean, really. I do not know what kinds of impacts that losing half the moon would have. Anyone in the comment section who wants to take a stab at what the impact of that sort of thing would be, I'd love to hear the theory.
Look! Half of the moon is gone?
Eggman! Oh, that creep never gives up.
But how did he manage to harness all that energy?
Gee, I wonder.
It's got to be the Chaos Emeralds. Yeah, that's the reason they were looking for him. Tails?
The Chaos Emeralds are like magnets. They have the power to attract each other.
First we've ever heard of this, but okay. So, you want me to plank, but keep my hands up. I'd be very uncomfortable. I'm not much of a contortionist. Oh, and fun fact, the story writer's official explanation as to why the moon is intact when we see it in later Sonic games, it's because they claim the side that was blown up in Sonic Adventure 2 has turned away from the Earth, and now serves as the dark side of the moon, and the intact half is now the parts facing the planet. I'm pretty sure that's not how it would work, but that's the in-story explanation. I'm wanted for $1 million. I don't know $1 million what, but $1 million something, and that's got to count for something. And Tails' first and arguably most useful power-up. Essentially, it's the same hover thing that Gamma got in Sonic Adventure the First, but honestly, it makes him much more mobile and easier to control during platforming segments. I consider it a worthy power-up. You remember when tight was part of the regular vocabulary and diction for like 2 years? They even updated Sonic's victory quote. They updated his victory quote in Sonic Heroes to, "That was tight!" And I'm like, it feels like I'm back in high school again. Once again, a little extra force clears the way. Can't quite target those guys up there. Just have to go without. Now, this is an obvious trap, but if you're minding the shadow, you see immediately what's happening here. So, yes, I did wander into it like an idiot the first time I played this game. Of course I did. It's almost like I'm not very good at games or something. I'm legitimately curious, though. When it comes to child voice actors, like, what's standard protocol? Like, do the other voice actors, like, have to walk them through the context of the story? I'd be genuinely curious to find out how you do that. As much as I give them static between this and the first game, whoever they had doing Tails' voice during this time did a pretty good job, and I think it was fitting for the character. Oops. Ah, dang it. So much for a nice rings bonus. This one you can just run under. It's really kind of a non-factor. And then they do it again, but they actually make it so you can't run past it. There's an invisible wall there until that event resolves. Forget it. I'm not even gonna worry too much about my bonus. It is what it is now.
I did it, Sonic!
Well, okay then.
expect the inside of the mines to be like this. This is gonna be tougher than I thought.
In addition to getting the emeralds, there's actually something pretty important here we want to get. Step 1 of this process is actually lowering the water level. Nice. I was about to give up and just kind of acted on a hunch there. Now there's switches throughout these stages that control the water level. Want to lower it as much as possible. Then head over here. There's a particular power-up that's going to make the rest of the game much, much easier if I get it. The camera is not a team player for this particular upgrade. Ah, yes. The oxygen tank necklace. Now, Knuckles can stay underwater indefinitely. And the reason that's a big deal is because there's a level later on that's going to demand a lot of underwater action on Knuckles' half. So grabbing that now is the best thing we can do for when that time comes. And then we're done there. Having done that, we can now resume our hunt for everything else. This way, maybe? Oh, I got excited, but it's a green Chaos Drive. Alright, just one left. Now, didn't mean to do that. Not anymore, I don't. Let's raise the water level. We can use that to explore around a bit more. Whoops.
If you throw the switch, the water level might change. Try it.
It's weird that I can still hear you underwater. Okay, camera. Why don't you calm down and let me explore. Sure would be embarrassing if in my test run of this game I accidentally kept going down there under the mistaken impression that's where the air necklace was. Sure is a good thing that didn't happen. Alright, I'm not getting the slightest hint on where this one might be. Try lowering the level a little. Alright. Come on, tell me more. Around here-ish? Yeah, I'm not sure what to take away from that. No, definitely not up. Let's try putting the water level back down then. Let's fail this time. Guess I got lucky with that first one. I have to pay for it now. Try this tunnel. Oh, kind of taking me in the wrong direction.
It's closer. I found him.
Ghost had it. Alright. That was pretty bad, but you guys should have seen my test recording.
That was tough.
More like I had to go out of my way for something, and then I had a hard time with that last one. Not the end of the world. He's already becoming a hero.
Now there.
Which makes sense, given that I've mostly been raising him with hero characters.
Now there.
Sheesh. There always seems to be a lot of police around when you don't need them. Tails, any news yet?
For some reason, I'm not getting a signal from the 6 remaining Chaos Emeralds. Maybe Eggman took the emeralds into outer space.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Outer space? Knuckles!
Hey guys, long time no see. I must have got lost in the mines. Looking for the Master Emerald pieces was tougher than I thought it would be. Where are we anyway? Hey, where you going?
Move aside, Knuckles!
I managed to find the transcripts between Eggman and the President in the government computer. I'm following the President's limo right now. If we get into the limo, we can trace the call to find Eggman.
Okay, let's meet up there.
Hey! Wait for me, Tails!
Don't think he can hear you. Now it's time for a bit of a bonus
Over
game.
there! Let's go!
Now, the thing you might notice upon playing the stage is, well, Tails' car doesn't handle like a car. It's actually weirdly stiff. And the only way you can get to loosen up at all is if you accelerate, release the accelerator, and then start accelerating again. Which then makes you very wibbly-wobbly. And that taxi had to go back to its home planet.
I'm getting closer!
I'm just saying, I've had my driver's license for many years now, and I've never driven a car that handled quite like Tails's. Fun fact, one of the challenge missions for this is get through without touching any walls, and one of them is get through without touching any other cars. Needless to say, some of these are easier than others.
Tails, did you find the president?
Almost, Sonic. Just a few more minutes.
Actually, because of its short duration and low threat level, this is not a bad level to grind out rings on. If you're wondering why you'd want to do that, you probably noticed that on the point screens, it's prompted total ring count from the start of the game going forward. That's because rings act as a currency, and you can buy items for your Chao Garden. Oops. A similar system is used in Sonic Generations, where you can buy various power-ups. And we're done.
Yeah, I found the president.
Yeah, that seems fair given how many times I ran into the walls.